Yo, what's going on YouTube? Today we'll be looking at probably the most OP build I came up with. Now I know you probably guys have heard it before, seeing on YouTube and all other people stream or whatever that they have the most OP build, but trust me, after seeing this you probably want to respec or reroll a Technomancer. So how does this build work? Alright, so we'll be using the Technomancer's main skill, Tools of Destruction. Now this will be our main source of damage, and we'll be using the minigun version of the skill by holding down the skill for a second. Now you're probably thinking, but Vinny, why would you use a skill? As the skill will only remain active until all the ammo is depleted or until you switch weapons. However, there is a mod that you can install into your weapon so that you have infinite ammo, so you'd never stop using a minigun. The mod is called Petroleum Mobile. Basically, it refills your magazine when you kill an enemy with 35% or less remaining of your magazine. So due to the fact that we've been using a minigun and we have unlimited ammo, as you can see here in the bottom right, we can refill as much of it as we want, thus allowing us to keep using a minigun. Alright, so what makes this build even more powerful than the most standard build? With the help of a few other mods besides the one I just mentioned, we can tweak the skill into the most OP build in the game. Alright, so going with your first item in your armory slot, you will need to have a mod called Massacre, and this will amplify your damage and continuously increase your damage with each kill. Now this stacks infinitely, well, until you swap weapons or you drop the minigun, and this generally happens before a boss fight or at reset points. You also want to have the rejuvenation mod as well, as this will provide you with the anomaly power, which is our main source of multiplier, and also provides us with the armor, which is amazing because this is a tanky build. Going with your second slot of gear, you will want to have Fortified mod, as this will provide you with a huge amount of armor. Now, as you can see here on this current piece of gear I'm wearing, it's currently providing me with 84k of armor, and that is added on top of my current armor, so this is a pretty beefy tanky build. Feel free to add any other defensive mods to your second slot to assist you. However, I chose Perseverance Shield, as it helps you in case where you need that extra second to regen your life back up, as it provides a shield when your health drops below 30%. Moving on to your third piece of gear, you want to have Bang for Your Buck mod, as this will increase the magazine size of your minigun, thus allowing you to have more breathing room to spray and pray without having to worry about refreshing your mag, especially on targets with larger health pools. The only other mod I would highly recommend to try to get would be Purity, as this will help the sticky situation when you are frozen or CC. And if you're not doing damage, you're going to stop regening, and in worst case, you're going to need to die. The reason why I'm recommending this to obtain it, because it's actually a hard mod to get, as it's a tier 3, and I'm not quite sure how rare it is, and it's only tier 3 mod that I have, so I'm assuming they're really hard to come by. So it's only a suggestion, but feel free to add any other defensive mods you have to this, your gear, as this build have a few free slots for your other mods if you want to add any other defensive mods to your build. Alright, stats and weapons. So the bonus thing about this build is it doesn't really matter what weapon you're using, as you're only relying on one thing and one thing only, and that's the mod that replenishes your mag, aka the Petroleum mod, and other mods that you have will just be just a bonus on top of this build. Just make sure that this build cannot crit, so if you have any crit mods, it's kind of useless for this build. Now the stats that we want to be focusing on this build is the anomaly power, and unfortunately the weapons do not provide that stat, so it's all on your armor pieces. If you cannot obtain any anomaly power, you can always settle for max HP pieces. The substats that we'll be chasing for this build will be close range combat, due to the fact that we're taking most of the mobs all the time. Life leech would be the other stats, purely just to help us sustain our life pool. And then the third stat is pretty much its long range combat. It's not really needed, but it's nice to have, as there is times where there's just mobs at range and you just want to deal damage to them. Just a little bit extra bonus would be quite nice to have. Alright, so looking at our talents and skills, so the main obvious skill that we need is Tools of Destruction, and then the Cryo turret, and also the Blood turret as well. The main reason you want to have these two turrets out is for them to tag the mobs so they can apply a debuff with the vulnerability, and also provide you with a nice anomaly buff when you activate the turrets. Alright, so looking at our talent tree, so we'll be heading down the Tech Shaman path. So because this is a tanky build, we want to be picking up max health, resistance, max health, and also along here you want to pick up Explosive Toxin, and mark for execution, as this will be applied with your defile turret. And then going along here, we want to pick up armor plates. Now the thing that you want to pick up is the fractured. This is going to be applied with our cryo turret, so picking this up will basically help us with the DPS. And then going along, you want to pick up anomaly, and then skill leech, and then more HP, more armor, and then you want to pick up the suction module, and then more armor. And then here we have Doctor Medicine, so increases your healing, and here we want to get another fractured, so an extra 30% on top as well. And then we want to get our death save. For pretty much what it does is for 10 seconds when you lose HP or when you're about to die, you basically heal up again. So this is just really nice to have just in case one of the emergency situation. And then going down, we want to get wipeout. So basically we want to execute more mobs when they're lower, and then nice anomaly bonus. And then here we have the adrenaline antenna. So basically when we activate our blighted turret, we get an extra 30% anomaly and for 10 seconds, so we can spam this because the turret comes off cooldown pretty quickly. And then with your last slot, you want to grab the elemental resistance just to help you out with being a bit more tanky, especially in the situation where there's elements being applied. Alright, so with that all in mind, I'll explain and show you guys how this build plays out. Alright, to start off, you want to deploy the minigun, and then you want to rotate your turrets off cooldown when you can. During combat, you want to keep an eye out for all of those low HP mobs or those weak ones, and what you want to do is you want to bring them low to basically about maybe 10% left, and just leave them out for a side. So basically when you need to refill your magazine, you can just quickly switch back to them and kill them off, and then basically refilling your mag. Now as you can see here, the more kills I'm getting, the stronger the damage becomes, as the damage is increasing with each kill due to the mod that we talked about earlier. Now due to the fact that we're a Technomancer, the more damage we deal, the more health we regen. So as you can see, I can instantly regenerate most of the damage I've taken, so therefore I'm pretty much practically unkillable. Now the downside of this build is that it's not multiplayer friendly, as you're required to be the one doing all the killing to the mobs, otherwise your skill damage does not increase. I mean, if you can manage to coordinate with your friends or voice comms or whatever, I'll just let them know that basically when you need to refill your mag so that you can keep going. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty rough being in a party if you're not the one getting the last kills. The other downside is your movement speed is reduced, so it takes a bit of time for you to get around places. So ideally when you're doing expeditions or maps, you want to have maps that has little movement or no movement at all. I mean, it's still doable. As you can see, I've been clearing with 3 stars. It's just a bit tedious to me moving around at such speed. Alright guys, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this build, or if you have any suggestions to help improve it. And with that guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video.